Okay, so welcome everyone for the orientation class of the foundation program. Okay, so today's session will be taken by Santhosh Reddy, who is currently serving in IRPS. Okay, so I will directly hand over to him. Okay, so he will take the orientation session. Okay, yes, yes, Santhosh, you can take over. Okay.
PPTA. Good evening, all. Am I audible now? I think there's some issue. Can anybody confirm whether I'm audible or not, please? Yeah, right. So it's a nice thing that the 30 people, enthusiastic people who've decided to join this session. That means there's a good 30 numbers who are thinking to pursue civil services. Uh, Before I talk about orientation for UPSC, I will just try to give a brief introduction about myself. I'm Santhosh Reddy. I'm presently an IRPS officer. As you're new in this venturing, so IRPS is one of the 24 services that UPSC conducts exam every year, in which IAS, IPS all come under this particular exam only, and based on your ranking you'll be given different allocated to different services. So I've appeared for civil services 6 times, and I've secured my final ranking 2 times, that is in 2019 and 2021. I've managed to clear prelims all the times except for the first time, and I wrote mains all the time, and I've appeared for interview every time I wrote the mains. So I feel I have that credibility or competency to say that I've seen UPSC at closer level and for long enough, where I'll be able to guide people the mistakes or how one should approach UPSC preparation. So that is all about me. As you can see in the slide, you all deserve an appreciation because I don't know if you realize this or not, but you've crossed the first step. If at all you've decided to pursue civil services, you crossed the first step of uncertainty. Many people who might be better talented or better hardworking or anybody better chances of getting selection have given up because of the self doubt. But you guys, you are trying to embrace that challenge. You're trying to believe in yourself. You're trying to think that you can clear civil services. That itself is a very big step. So for that, I think each one of you deserve a token of appreciation. And So now you wanted to go to civil services. So I would like to ask a question: why civil services? Can anybody respond in chat? Why civil services? Passion to service the nation, yes. Few more, please. Few more responses. Job satisfaction plus service oriented, greater scope of doing good. My aim since childhood that one stood one and only option to serve. Okay, to serve the country, right? To serve the people. Okay, each one of you gave unique or different reasons. Maybe each one of you had your own reasons to choose civil services. Generally in civil services, once you start preparing for civil services, a person encounters this question at a very later stage of his preparation during the interview, during the final stage. That is when the panel asks them why civil services. But the reason that I've asked you during the first interaction or even before you ventured into civil services as a preparation is because the why civil services and the answer I don't want to know the answer, or you're not liable to answer me, but you're liable to answer to yourself, because the reason that you give yourself for civil services preparation, or the reason that you give yourself, will be the reason or will be the motivating factor during your entire course of UPSC preparation. Mark my words, the external motivation or coming under parents' pressure or for any other lighter reasons, UPSC is a long journey. The stronger the reason that you give, that stronger the motivation for you to carry on that journey. So that is the reason that I've asked you people to respond. And nonetheless, everybody have given good reasons, but I'm hoping that all those reasons are strong enough. And so, how many of you are aware of what UPSC is? Like, what is, I know you all wanted, many of you generally, like when we started, even each one of us, we all started at a space where we all used to think UPSC is about IAS. Of course, UPSC means it's a body which conducts examination where people are selected in the mind. So I just want to know how many of you have a fair bit of idea about UPSC or civil services exam. Can anybody answer how many services or how many UPSC the civil services exam is conducted for how many services? Good, good, good. 22, 24, of course, there's a dichotomy there. 29, no, 29 is not the answer. But of course, you include other exams as well. So UPSC is a constitutional body. That means it is established in the constitution. It derives its powers directly from the constitution. And it is the body competent enough to conduct the civil services exam. Now we'll talk about the exam structure. So basically, of course, there are different services. IAS, you all must be aware of it. IPS, of course. So UPSC is the recruiting body for both All India services and also Central Civil Services. So the technical difference that I'm talking about, All India services are guided under the All India service rules, where the Central Civil Services are bound by Central Civil Services rules of 1964. So 21, yes. What does it take to be a civil servant? Of course, the obvious answer is, of course, you have to clear all the three stages of the exam. But uh, there are exam, and prelims is the first and foremost stage. And has anybody have any idea what does an exam contain? Anybody with any idea about prelims can type up a message. Just want to know how much you guys are aware of the exam process. So yeah, multiple choice questions. That right, Prashant? Two papers, of course, that's right. General studies, GS and CSAT, right? So basically, general studies, objective type, GD and CSAT. Yes, right. I think I'm satisfied enough to, because I believe all of you knowledge about the examples. So general studies, it includes various subjects. Indian history, polity, economy, environment, current affairs, science and technology. So here, when you hear the terms, right? When I say Indian history, everything that happened till yesterday is history. So you might even ask me So when you mention Indian history, what should we learn or what should we focus upon? Because Indian history, it sounds like everything under the sky, right? It sounds terrifying when I say science and technology, when I say environment, because the subjects are so vast in themselves. How will you prepare for them? How will you start preparing for them? So here, no, I want to come to the basic part of the question. Civil services, the exam is like any other competitive exam. Here you are in the competition and you just have to be better than the other person you're competing against. So how do you do that? You do that by doing your basics right. You do that by sticking to your schedule, because as I said before, UPSC is a long marathon, and it's just not that you'll not become a civil servant overnight. It's like it's not like the I'm hoping, as most of us still into the education or are yet to enter the competitive space. Unlike other competitive exams that you must have encountered until up to now, they are very quick. But UPSC, the process itself is a long process. Suppose in June prelims happens, after 3 to 4 months mains happen, after 3 months then people are called for interviews. If everything goes well, you see your name in the coveted list of civil services of that particular year. Suppose you do not do well in any one of the stage, the cycle starts all again. So it's a long process. So that's the reason I'm saying, like any other competitive exam, this exam has to be seen in one way. But this exam deserves the respect, but because unlike other competitive exams, because of the longevity that it is involved. So when we talk about prelims, when we talk about Indian, suppose let's take an example of Indian history. When we talk about Indian history, uh, there are certain books or there is a certain specific strategy that should be adopted. See, when I say Indian history, when I say Indian history, the standard books that are there in the market or the standard books that are there, no, they'll give you all sorts of knowledge. But here you're not there to become to or do a thesis in history. You're here there to prepare or to gather enough knowledge that can help you clear the exam. This is the most basic mantra in any competitive exam, because when you see the subjects in civil services, it's always almost tempting that you would want to develop a certain level of knowledge in each subject, because sometimes see, we as a persons, we are always inclined, or we always have a curiosity or positive inclination towards learning more subjects. Suppose you take economy is one such subject, or history, where you think you want to go deeper and deeper. But you also should understand that you are preparing any particular subject or any subject only with the objective of clearing this exam. So what level you have to prepare, or to what you have to prepare, what is the what most relevant topics on that particular subject for UPSC exam, for all those topics you require a certain level of guidance. And is one such institute where the faculty has been involved with the examination process for so long that they'll be able to guide you to what level you have to read, to what depth you have to read, and to what exact books you have to refer to clear or to prepare properly for UPSC civil services exam. Because uh, when I first entered the UPSC civil services preparation, my entire preparation strategy was based on my own trial and error method, because there was not enough guidance. There was not many options available. So what we used to do at that point of time was we used to prepare in certain way, and then at particular stage in prelims or mains, we used to find out that our particular strategy didn't work out, and then I failed in that particular level, maybe be it prelims or mains. Then we have to go back to drawing room, then we have to see what mistakes have done, then we have to change, reform those mistakes, come with a better strategy. So this trial and error method that we did, no, it costed us, though eventually we got selected, but it costed us a fair bit of time. It costed us years, to be frank or to be blunt. we wasted years of service because lack of guidance. Or exactly, you do it in the process of understanding the subject, or no learning a subject in a way not relevant to the exam. Those mistakes should be avoided, and that is where any coaching institute, and especially umbrella academy, where the faculty has been involved in the process, can help you. So that is the reason I'm saying, though the subjects seem terrifying. Suppose if I say Indian history or geography, you might ask me, what is geography? What all should we cover in geography? But geography is but we as an institute, or umbrella academy is an institute, or we people involved, the faculty involved in the umbrella academy, are competent enough to tell you what you should refer in geography, what are the standard books, or what is the approach that you have to approach geography in the point of view of civil services exam. Similarly, with all the subjects, those subjects individually might mean very vast, but you have to remember all the subjects are here for certain competitive exam, and all of them will have own certain limitations. uh, just to be clear, I'm hoping you following me, and any doubts I would like to answer till now. Any question you would want to ask, I'll be sure. I'll be happy to answer. Yeah, how much time is required for starting preparation? And we'll do one thing. We'll take the entire these general questions. I thought we'll do the entire question and answer session later. So prelims one, as I've told, there'll be two papers. One is general studies and includes syllabus like geography, politics, economy, environment, general. And then there is a second paper. And this second paper, CSAT, has become most notorious of late, because though it is a qualifying paper, I think you understand what is a qualifying paper mean. It is not taken for the final cutoff. All you have to get is 66 and 2 by 3 marks to clear the exam. It is irrespective whether you get 150 or 67, you'll be clearing that exam. All you need is one third of the marks. And whereas general studies paper one, there the cutoff is calculated CSAT, but CSAT is only a qualifying paper. Out of 200 marks, if you get more than one third, you'll be clearing it. But if you see, CSAT as a paper focuses on quantitative aptitude and reasoning and basic numeracy. When you see these three words, no, they can be very uh, you might assume they are very easy, or how can one person cannot even score one third out of from these topics. But of late, you see many people, even from IITs, or people who had mathematics as background or had engineering as their background, are failing to clear CSAT. And CSAT has played an instrumental role in cutting down the prelims cutoff level consistently from the last 5 years. If you observe the pattern, so in 2020 the cutoff for prelims paper 1 has considerably gone down, less than 80 marks out of 200, and CSAT has played a very big role. So in this so CSAT is as a paper, maybe till 2015 people were taking it for granted, but nobody can afford it anymore. And even for CSAT, it requires a specific guidance, specific idea, specific questions that are asked, or specific focus areas what UPSC is concentrating every year. And we have Philip, maybe he'll interact with you later, who's mostly focused on CSAT as an exam, what one should focus in quantitative aptitude, reasoning, and basic numeracy. So entire as an institute, Umbrella Academy's entire focus has been upon how should students approach this exam as an exam, and how the faculty should guide them. And so in both the ways, CSAT and General Studies paper 1, though CSAT is only qualifying, it is the paper that requires most attention, because if you fail CSAT, irrespective of how much you score, even you're scoring 150 or 160 out of 200 in paper 1, it doesn't matter unless you score that 60, one third of 200, that is 66 2 by 3 marks. So for that, as well as the toughness of the papers is increasing, it is very pertinent that if one seeks external guidance, that will be very useful for them. And that's with this is the broader understanding of the prelims paper. Then I'm hoping all of you who attended, who thought they should pursue civil services and decided to give the exam a try. I'm hoping all of you have cleared UPSC prelims 2025, say 2026, whenever you want to attempt. So now let us assume that you've all crossed UPSC and then you've entered the mains. This is the real stage. This is the where the original or the real competency is. Prelims is a filtering stage, because every year people apply, even have present for the exam. Out of that, only 10,000 odd people are selected for writing mains. So now you understand those 10,000 people who out of 90,000 filtering stage. Now you've entered the main stage where you see the exam as a very extensive process. As you can see the slide, it consists of 9 papers and all are subjective papers. And out of 9, 2 are just qualifying papers. Those are language papers, of course, but of course they are also very important, as if you can see in the last line. Unless you get 25% in each of those papers, the other 7 papers they'll not be evaluated and your score will not be given. Suppose if Telugu is your language paper, one is English language, another is any Indian language. Suppose if Telugu is your mother tongue, you can choose one paper as Telugu. And suppose out of 300, you fail to score 25% of it. That means you fail to score even 75. That means all the effort that you put in all the other papers will go waste. So any paper, any qualifying paper in any UPSC stage is not to be taken lightly. So now that you've entered main stage, you can see everything is a subjective paper. And when I say subjective paper, and it also requires extensive writing. We'll see in the next slide how it will be. So the first paper will be, generally when the main starts, the first day you'll be writing general essay that has 2 essays, each comprising around 1000 to 1200 words. And when you think of essay, you might be assuming uh, generally or you might be assuming you're good in answer writing or good in English skills, or your vocabulary might be better, you think your language skills are better, and you can assume that you might write good essays. But here uh, the general essays that are asked in the UPSC exam are way different. And it's not that they give an elaborate paragraph for you to understand. They give is 5 to 6 words that means they just form a sentence, and they expect you to write 10 to 12 pages per thing. So for example, in 2023, I remember an essay was asked, the process of self-discovery has been technologically outsourced. So when you see this from the outside, anybody thinks, what will we write 1,000 words from this? But and this was one of the easier essays that was asked in that particular year. So you can understand how the essays that you are used to, the essays that you are used to reading or writing until up to this level are irrelevant when it comes to writing or appearing for UPSC. These essays are completely different. It requires a certain domain expertise or wide understanding or various topics and reproducing them in various dimensions. Uh, and of course, that as you're still in a very what do you call it, nascent stage. As you're just entering, this might sound intimidating, but trust me, we all started at this particular level. When I first started my preparation and during my first day, I felt all of it so intimidating that I thought after a week I'll not be able to prepare anything. I thought to myself that civil services, the dream of civil services, is not my cup of tea or is beyond my competency. But now, after 6 years, the journey has been so satisfying that I was able to overcome my all my limitations or all my this thing to overcome to understand the exam, to understand what it takes, to how to approach the exam. It was a quite a journey, and all of you who are committed enough for this exam will go through the same journey. Today you must be assuming that you do not understand anything, but now you're an empty piece of paper that requires a certain writing. You do not know anything for now. You do not know what is history, what is polity, or what is UPSC. All you have, or no, you have a child's dream of becoming an officer or becoming a civil servant. That requires a certain molding. That requires a certain external assistance. That external assistance, that molding, that what is required for this exam is where the institute comes into picture. The institute helps you not only in talking or clearing this exam or understanding the exam. It understands your limitations, it understands your strength, because once when an institute gives you a personal mentorship, no, it understands you totally in a person, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, what particular approach should adapt it to you, so that you will be able to clear the exam. And most of the subjects, uh, coming back to the general essay, as I said, what all I'm saying now, though it might sound intimidating, please don't think, because we all started at that stage, we all felt it was so intimidating. But you'll all understand, you'll all, once you start preparing for the exam, every puzzle will be solved, everything will fall in place, and you will come on top of it each time. So after general essay, then there are four GS papers, each paper consisting of 20 questions. Of course, the most of the syllabus is common with prelims syllabus. Of course, here in mains, it is more extensive and deeper. Suppose in GS1, they also talk about culture and expand the not only history. GS1, it also includes society, geography, economic geography, etc. In paper 2, it primarily deals with polity, international relations. They are the major topics that are involved. And of course, it deals with governance. When we say governance, it talks about administration, it talks about NGOs, it talks about pressure bodies, etc. And GS3 is the major topics around in GS3 are economy, science and technology, environment, and disaster management. These are the topics that GS3 focuses on. So when you hear these topics, no, all these topics are not alien to you. All these topics, you read about them somewhere, you heard about them somewhere, you know something about everything to a certain level. Suppose if when I talk about disaster, you know about it. So you might not be having in-depth knowledge of it, but you know what is a disaster. What we have seen in Hyderabad for the past 3 days, the rains, the people, the vehicles floating in on the roads. You might when I choose the word disaster, you think your mind must be correlating to something that you already have. What UPSC requires is what all you have, it has to be polished and more refined, and more in-depth knowledge is required. UPSC is not rocket science. It's just what you know, it's just what the common sense that you have, but in a more refined and more in-depth way. And GS4, it deals with ethics paper. So any civil servant not only should have his subject expertise, but also should have many ethical values. And then ethical values, of course, integrity, honesty, empathy, compassion. When a person is only person who has inculcated all these values will become a better civil servant. And the paper will be both theoretical, and even case studies also will be given in the section B part, where you will be where some real-time situations are given and you're asked to respond in a particular answer. And of course, I've spoken that there will be two qualifying papers called language papers. One is English, that is compulsory, and another language paper you can choose. Generally, people choose a language which they are comfortable. Of course, other than English, it is our mother tongue that we are comfortable with. I chose Telugu, and I'm assuming only that you'll be choosing your own mother tongue. So in both these language papers, it is pertinent that you score more than 25%. Otherwise, all your efforts in all the other papers will be wasted because you'll not be knowing any of the score. And now we'll address the elephant in the room. That is the reason it is in bold letters, the optional subject. Optional subject is, I don't know if you're aware of it, in 9 of the GS papers, all this at the prelim stage, GS1 and CSAT, and in main stage, or in out of 9, the 7 papers. All these papers are common for everybody. That means irrespective whether you're a doctor, whether you're an arts graduate, whether you're an engineering graduate, you have to attempt all the 7 papers in the same way and the same questions are to be answered. But optional paper is one where you'll be fighting with your own strength, and that is the game changer. For example, a doctor who's attempting this exam will be most probably might attempt this exam with medical science as his optional. A mathematic graduate might attempt this exam with mathematics as his optional. A guy who has enough knowledge in forestry might attempt this exam with forestry as an optional, or agriculture as an optional, because this optional is where you will be fighting this exam with your strength. All the other areas, it's the common battleground, but optional subject is the most important decisive subject that can decide your selection. So generally, you should take time before selecting optional. Once you start preparing for UPSC, once you start doing your GS papers, once you start doing practice everything, it has to be kept in mind that even if it is taking time, you have to select correct optional paper based on your own interest and also based on the scoring pattern of UPSC. The reason I'm mentioning scoring pattern of UPSC is because if suppose you have interest in a certain subject the the trend of UPSC has been that particular subject has not been a very well scoring subject recently, there is no use why even if you're it should not be based on your emotion. Just because you like a particular subject does not mean you should select the subject, because you might not get enough marks in the final exam. So any subject that you choose, or any reading, any book, any book that you pick up in the next few years, everything should help you in your final exam selection. That is your whole purpose. Never ever lose sight of your purpose or sight of your goal, why you have started this preparation. So optional subject, of course, there are many subjects, and you have to see. And of course, there are certain subjects like universal subjects where if you're not aware, or if you're not fully confident on which subject to take. Of course, there are certain subjects that are scoring also that might help you in GS. Of course, anthropology, political science, sociology, etc. These are the subjects where people prefer to opt out. Of course, and but at the same time, if you believe in your own strength, if you believe you have good enough domestic domain expertise in your own subject, I would suggest you should choose that particular subject. Suppose I did my computer science engineering, and when I thought I should have to select my civil services optional, I chose mathematics out of interest. And similarly for you, if you think you can score well in any subject, if you think you can do well, you have to decide your optional subject. Do not rush it, but take enough time to see all the subjects that are there. Ensure that, because once you select optional subject, you should not go back again. You should not have self-doubt. So that is the thing, and of course, all I'm giving now is only a broader understanding. And what the key takeaways from the mains paper is that the optional subject is the most important paper, and of course, all the other papers are also important, but that importance level is same for all the other competent candidates also. But optional subject is where you will be fighting with your strength, and. Of course, final step will be the interview. This is it may come at a much later stage for you, but of course, nonetheless, when you start preparing for UPSC, you have to believe that you are on already a civil servant and you're just writing this exam to complete the formality. When you do that, you'll be having a very integrated approach of preparing. Well, you should not have this goal. Many people I encounter, who come for guidance, they tell me, "Sir, this year I'm thinking I'll clear prelims. Next year I'll focus for mains. After that, slowly, gradually, I'll go till interview stage." You can never aim to clear only a particular stage of exam when you have to clear all the stages. Unless you clear mains, unless you clear interview, it's all the same. You have to go back and attempt prelims again. So there's this saying, no, you have to aim for the sky. At least you'll fall on the roof. You're aiming for the roof, you'll be on the ground only. Suppose you aim only for clearing optional or clearing prelims. Sorry, most probable case you'll fail prelims only. But in an entire course of preparation, you should be focusing on clearing the entire exam, and not in bits and pieces, but in as a whole lot together one exam. And in the I think we'll go for the general. We'll have a very general discussion on the right attitude for this exam. In the three stages that I've discussed, you might have understood that it is a very extensive exam. So there can be times where you might think, even in fact, I was there, despite giving multiple interviews, despite giving multiple selections, there were many times where I thought I may not be able to do this. I may not be able to achieve the one dream that I wanted for so long, because this exam is a mentally draining and a time taking process. At any certain level, at any certain time, it has to be, you have to keep in mind that you should always believe, you have it in you that you can clear this exam. Unless you have confidence in yourself, it is very difficult to convince anybody or to convince UPSC that you are a perfect civil service aspirant. And the second point that comes is identifying one's strength. What is your strength? As I said, in the previous slides, I spoke about optional subject. Not only in optional subject, in other subjects as well, you have to identify what your strengths are. Suppose as an individual you like economy, or reading economy you enjoy it, you have to ensure that if you realize economy is your strength, economy should be the scoring paper in both prelims and mains level. When you understand your strength, no, the main advantage of that is, as the syllabus is very elaborate, there can be many areas where you might feel that the particular areas are your weak points. Those weak points will be covered by your strength. So, but if you're not aware what your strength is, if you're not aware which subject you like better, there is no use, right? So you have to identify your own strength. You might like history, or you might like economy, or you might even like geography, but that is up to you as a person. But once you identify that there are certain areas of your interest, you have to ensure that you are scoring the maximum marks in the exam. And time management, of course, time management is generally important in not only in the exam point of view, but also in the day-to-day affairs. But for the UPSC exam, time management, I'll just give you an example. At the main stage, in GS papers, you are expected to write 20 questions in 3 hours. Suppose if you're not managing your time well, each question is around, for of course, 12 and a half marks, so it's 250 marks, so assuming 12 and a half marks. So let us assume that you have not managed your time well, and you just were able to finish 19 questions. That means you've left 12 and a half. marks in one particular paper, and you did the same with all the 4 subjects. That means you are 45 marks behind your your peers whom you are competing against, right? So time management and answer writing practice are the most important things in your preparation level, preparation time also, and during the time where you attend the final exam as well. And mock test, see, the syllabus is very elaborate that by the time you complete the entire syllabus, you might as well forget everything that you've read. Suppose you're reading polity, the standard book that we refer for polity, anybody refers who's appearing for the exam for polity is Lakshmikant. And once you start doing Lakshmikant, without any mock test of, suppose you attempt to complete entire book of Lakshmikant, then attempt the test, no, it is as good as you not writing the exam only, because you'll not remember anything, because the syllabus is so elaborate. You have to evaluate yourself very constantly. Suppose you're reading polity, there are around so many 16 17 chapters. Assuming you have to do first 2 chapters or first 3 chapters, write a test on those 3 chapters, write a objective type test, prelims type test. Then you'll understand what is your strength. And also once you write that exam, no, once you'll also understand what is lacking, because in most probable cases when you newly enter the preparation, you might make a very blunder of mistakes in in the way you approach the subject. That is where evaluating yourself consistently will make much of a difference. When you write the first mock test and when you write the fifth mock test, there'll be a huge difference, not only in the marks but the way you approach the subject. And that those mock tests should be, those tests should be very closer to the UPSC level. It's not that the questions should be directly lifted from Lakshmikant book and given to you. It's not the mug up session that we do in our school level. It has to be, those tests are to be, are at a level where the competencies at UPSC level are tested. And thankfully, as many students last year also certified, Umbrella Academy provides such mock tests. Those tests are very closer to the UPSC standard. The When you attempt, there's a saying, if you heard of it or not, it is better to sweat in practice than to bleed in bleed in war. So when you do enough practice tests, even if you're scoring less, you'll become a better person. You'll understanding it, your understanding towards a certain subject will become better. And then when you attempt your final exam, you become a, an upgraded version of yourself from your own mistakes and from your own learnings. And that is where mock test will become a take a very important part of your examination process. And I think glad to say that Umbrella Academy's mock tests are on par with final UPSC exam. And current affairs, as I said, when I discussed the syllabus, I never mentioned current affairs, because current affairs is the underlying glue in all the subjects. So when I say science and technology, it is not, UPSC does not focus, or what CV Raman did at a certain point of time, or what something. Current affairs, in current affairs come in every subject. Current affairs come in science and technology. Current affairs come in economy. Suppose economy, there can be a question on repo rate in a particular next year, but that does not mean that is a static subject. That might be taken from a current affair. So current affairs is the underlying glue that connects all the subjects. And the more updated you are with the current affairs, that means you are more updated or more ready for the examination process. And of course, current affairs, uh, not the general current affairs, it has to be very proper. It requires a daily newspaper reading, preferably Hindu. uh, Hindu newspaper reading will not only make your language better, it will also make not only your current affairs better, it will also make your language better. That will help you in your answer writing and essay writing. So at any stage, no, whenever you're preparing for one particular thing, you have to have a very integrated approach. Suppose when I mentioned that you have to prepare current affairs, you should be preparing in a way, or you should have an institute which should help you. So gladly, Umbrella IAS Academy does that, which will help you how to prepare a particular thing that can help you either in prelims or in mains, or to the matter of fact in interview. That is where your resources, time, everything is wasted, is everything is saved. And the trial and error method that we did during our preparation and wasted our time will be avoided. And this, to avoid this trial and error, to have this external institute helping you is the most important thing, so that you'll not waste the prime years of your life for preparation, and you'll be coming out flying colors uh, in the exam. And of course, as I mentioned, UPSC is a very long journey. Well-being is also very important. It's not that every day will be colorful. There'll be many days, as I said before, you'll be doubting yourself, or many days where due to other pressures you'll not be able to study. There'll be many days you might not have a very positive mindset. You might think this exam is wasting your time, or most probably, because in a competitive exam, no, you'll be many times you'll be failing, or you might be tired. Fatigue and failure are the two most dangerous things that will prevent us from reaching our goals. But that is where you have to ensure that you're properly taking care of yourself. Stress management, that also, when you prepare for an exam, and when you do it all by yourself, because as you're new to this exam, you do not know at what level the stresses will be, and you do not know how to manage them. But as an institute, or as a people who are involved with the process for so long, we've seen people so many times in so many ways how they manage stress and what has to be done. And that is how having a help will help you in managing your stress. And social support, every institute or any family support, friends, is important. And of course, friends, I mean, those friends who are continuously helping you in achieving your civil services dream, and not the friends who are not in the stream. And of course, positive mindset, not only in the civil services exam, wherever you go in life, positive mindset is the most important thing that will help you achieve your dreams. And regular breaks and recreation. When I say regular breaks, I do not mean that you should study for one day, take break for next day. It has to be studying hard for 1 week and maybe taking a break for a day. That is what regular breaks. Please don't mistake me. And of course, recreation. Recreation is where you do recreation. You should be following one or the other recreation, just to keep your mind and body always ready for the competition. And as it is an orientation session, I just don't want to pressurize you more by giving a very elaborate thing. I only wanted to give you a very basic idea. What is an examination process? What does it take? Uh, how you should be, the kind of mindset that one should have, why one should have a mock test, what is answer writing practice. We'll delve more deeper into the subjects into the coming sessions, but this is just a broader understanding. It is an introductory session for you about the UPSC exam. Most of you, all of you, not even most of you, most probably all of you are thinking only of IAS when preparing for civil services. From that level, we are trying to increase your view, trying to introduce this exam, and this session is all about that, making the UPSC civil services exam more familiar to all of you. And in the coming sessions, we'll interact more. uh, we'll see how we have to, once you decide to appear for civil services, we'll have to understand each one of you have joined, to understand their strength and weaknesses, and see how, at what level you should start, or we should start, or together, in achieving your goals. That's it from my side. Now I'm open to questions. If anybody is willing to ask, or we'll do one thing. I think now I'll hand over to Philip. the faculty of our academy, where he'll be taking care of CSAT and all. Once he's done, then we'll have a question and answer session. We'll have a question and answer session. Thank you. Philip, please do.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. I hope the voice is audible. So I'll basically take just 5 more minutes of your time so that I give you details regarding what this foundation program is all about. Okay. And then we will conduct the question and answer session. If you have any doubts, you can talk, you can clarify your doubts with Santhosh. Okay. So in the meantime, let me just tell you some details regarding the foundation schedule. Okay. So first and the foremost thing is, yes, this 6 students that are here, they are basically our classroom students. Okay. So that means they cleared the UPSC last year and they have been with us for the last 2 or 3 years with us. Okay. And they have participated in the prelims program, the mains program, and even the interview guidance program. Okay. So all of them is there. And you can see here that is in the top 100 itself, we have 2 ranks here. Okay, we have 2 ranks from Vinotini as well as Ishani also. They are part of our prelims mentorship, mains mentorship, and even the interview guidance program, right? Now, these are all the testimonials that they have written to us, right? And at the same time, our other students who have just joined the foundation course in Labasna, okay? So they have joined the foundation course, and after their foundation course, they have again reached out to us. Okay, so they are giving their experiences, how they feel while sitting with the toppers, future bureaucrats, okay, and how blessed they feel. Okay, so hopefully the students who are writing or who are attending today's session, you will also be able to, we will also be able to go through this entire process together, and at the end of the day, be successful, right? So here, this is regarding Molitsen, who has just recently started the foundation course in Labasna. And here it is Zora who got allocated from Indian Foreign Service. Okay, so she was the second girl student to get selected from Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and she was with us for the last 2 years, and she has been with us, and we have guided her through the prelims, mains, okay, and the interview also, right? So these are the testimonials that we have. Now let us discuss, certainly first and the foremost thing, what are the problems that the other courses that other institutes provide, right? The foundation courses that they provide, what are the problems that they have, and why it is something which is of a challenge for the students who are preparing for the first time, right? So when we talk about foundation courses in any other institute, what they focus on is the subject knowledge part of it. Okay, so for example, if personally, if let's say if I'm talking about personally, when 10 years back I came to this market and I was going through my foundation courses, so there the history session of it, right? The history teacher took basically 3 months to prepare for the history syllabus itself. Okay, now the problem here was it was not actually related to the UPSC content. It is just the subject knowledge that they are providing. Okay, so that is the very differentiator that we have. That is, please understand, you have to prepare according to the exam. You are not here to do PhD in your subject. You are here to prepare the exam, clear the exam, and get results. Okay, so this is a major portion that you have to focus on. Okay, similarly, no exam oriented approaches there, right? Absence of personalized mentorship. Now, this is also a major challenge which most of the foundation students face, right? That is, they are not guided after the program is done. The personalized mentorship is missing. Okay, that is how to prepare their prelims, how to go about their mains, how to improve their marks. All of that mentorship part of it, personalized mentorship is missing, right? And currently you can see here, there is information overload also, right? Because we are in a digital age, there is a lot of content now being provided by multiple sources, and the student is basically not able to guess where they should focus on, right? So these are certain issues with the foundation courses that are there. So how are we different, right? So our basically what we focus on is the examiner mindset approach here, right? So let me first say what do we mean by examiner mindset, right? So when we talk about examiner mindset, I'm just giving you certain logic based content here so that you understand okay, how it is relevant from a UPSC perspective, right? So here see, examiner mindset, yes, we focus on basically 4 areas here. Okay, areas of focus, keywords, elimination techniques, and question framework. Okay, now what do we mean by these 4 terms, right? So let's see areas of focus itself. So when we talk about areas of focus, as Santhosh already said, right, when we talk about any content here, history portion is there, economics portion is there, there is a lot of content that you have to prepare. Okay, but you should be able to pinpoint your answer or pinpoint your preparation to certain very specific topics which are repeatedly asked in UPSC. Then only it would be relevant for your preparation. Okay, so a case in point here is, see, this one is actually a 2023 question, right? This is basically a 2022 question, right? UPSC questions, both are UPSC questions. And based on this pattern, we understand that, okay, money markets and capital markets are very important for UPSC. And based on it, in the prelims mentorship program, we focused on this topic. Okay, that is collateralized borrowing and lending obligation. Okay, is it a money market, monetary policy? All of it we discussed. Okay, now based on the same pattern, you can see in 2024 what has happened. Okay, same question, collateral borrowing and lending obligations are instruments of which. Okay, so this was asked in your 2024 paper, but the analysis of it was done in the last 2 years, right? Similarly here, keywords, the next area that we focus on is keywords here, right? So when we talk about keywords also, so certain very important keywords are there which you have to focus on specifically in current affairs. Okay, so for example, here bio is there. Okay, bio is an important keyword. We will discuss that in the foundation program also, which areas you should focus on. Okay, so here again, 2023 question, 2022 question, bio. Okay, now based on this, we prepared students in the current affairs program for this content, that is advanced sewage wastewater treatment here. Okay, something related to biofilm reactors was asked. Okay, it was there in current affairs. That is why we prepared the same content. Okay, now see here in 2024, again, the same question is asked. Membrane bioreactors is used in context of what? Wastewater treatment. Okay, so please understand, unless and until you prepare proper targeted content, you will not be able to clear the prelims exam. It's as simple as that. Yeah. Similarly, here also the same thing, right? The next one is elimination techniques here. So please understand certain keywords, again, certain words are there which the examiner itself is putting there in the exam hall, right? For example, see here, some mushrooms have medicinal properties. So we have generally discussed this in the exam also. When some keywords are used, there is a degree of certainty that the examiner himself gives. So such statements are generally correct here, right? Now, all these questions that you see, some, right? Now, here also you can see some, right? So what we see here is in the PYQs itself. Now, this is all taken from only one UPSC paper. Okay, this is basically taken from 2023 UPSC prelims paper. So just based on one content itself, you could have solved all 4 questions and marked it as correct in your exam hall. Okay, so please understand there are certain techniques also which you have to focus on. Now, all of this is based on our analysis of the last 15 years of the paper at hand. Fine. Now, in the question paper framework, again, see here, this is from our class notes. Okay, consider the following rivers, and we have given 4 rivers and asked them to arrange in west to east direction. Okay, the same content, the same question was again asked in the prelims paper. This is again a 2024 prelims question here. Okay, that is when you arrange Ganga, different rivers from west to east. Even the options are the same. Okay, so this is very, very important that you understand the content that you are preparing from, the content, the source of content that you are preparing from. Is it aligned with the UPSC pattern? If it is not, you will still be focusing on the same thing. You will be repeatedly studying and not able to clear the prelims. Okay, so you might have seen many students who have written prelims once or twice, and then they say, okay, sir, now we are able to understand what prelims actually constitutes of. Right, so that is a very common pattern because they go through the foundation program and the teachers do not teach them okay, where the areas that they have to focus on. Okay, so that examiner mindset should be very clear from the very start. Okay, so similarly here also in our questions, okay, we have asked regarding Sahel region because certain issues were there, instability was there. Same thing has been asked in 2024 also. Okay, so if we understand the examiner mindset, which areas to focus on, and that is how you will also benefit if you join the foundation program. Fine. Now, let me just tell you what the foundation program is all about, right? So first and the foremost thing is it has a basic GS foundation module here. Okay. So in the foundation module, we are basically focusing only on the primary terms that you should definitely know. Some basic terms. Okay. For example, in economics, if we are discussing, if let's say we discuss inflation, right? So there we are discussing basically what constitutes inflation, what is it? Okay, all the basic aspects of it will be covered in the GS foundation module here. Okay, whereas in the advanced prelims mentorship module, we will focus on the implications of it in the economy, inflation. Okay, so all of that will be covered, exact examiner mindset, all of it will be covered in the advanced prelims mentorship module, and it is also part of the foundation program itself. Okay, now apart from this, there is current affairs module also. So many students are there who ask us also, sir, should we read newspapers every daily and all? Okay, so please understand, when you start reading newspapers, it is good, but at the same time it takes away a certain point of your preparation also, certain number of hours from your preparation also, right? So please leave that current affairs also to us. So we will take current affairs classes on a weekly basis, and whatever is the relevant current affairs, we'll provide that to you directly in the foundation program. Okay, now apart from that there is an elimination techniques module also, which is a very important course that you have to definitely know, because all the content that you know from the foundation program, okay, all the content that you learn, you will be able to do only 35 to 40 questions in the entire paper. 100 questions are there in your prelims paper. Based on your knowledge, you will be able to just guess, or you will be able to do only 35 to 40 questions. The rest 60 questions, how you should attempt the same, will be taught to you through the elimination techniques module. And it is a highly refined course based on the last 10 years paper, analysis paper. So you should definitely attend this module, right? Now comes the CSAT mentorship module also. Now this is something which is important for those students, because many students are not able to clear CSAT paper. They are able to score very high marks in paper one, but because they are not able to clear the CSAT cutoff, their marks are not getting evaluated. So this is again a major hurdle that you have to clear, and it is included in the foundation program. Okay. Now, apart from this, your mains mentorship module is also included. That is, once you get the basic content knowledge, then we should be able to guide you. We will guide you on how to write the content, how to prepare for your mains. Okay, what content to write. We will refine your content also based on the same premise. Okay, so basically 6 modules are there. Okay, all 6 modules are part of the foundation program. Okay, advanced preliminary mentorship will start on the month of, both will start on the month of November. Okay, we'll first complete the GS foundation module, and then we'll go to the from November onwards, we'll focus on the mentorship modules. Okay, now for the students who join the foundation program here, yes, so the first week schedule itself. Okay, so we'll start the foundation program on the 4th of September. Okay, we'll start on 4th of September, and the first week schedule is listed here. Okay, so 3 days we'll focus on history. We'll start with history and polity here. Okay, now in the foundation schedule itself, foundation program itself, you might also find okay, there are certain esteemed faculties that we have. Okay, so you have already seen Santhosh Reddy. Okay, so he will be taking some subjects here, right? There is Narasimha Reddy sir also. He is MTech from IIT. He will also be taking some courses and all. Okay, and this is me, that is Director Umbrella Academy, and there is Vikas also, that is Chief Mentor Umbrella Academy. Okay. Now, apart from this, there are other retired and serving bureaucrats also who will take classes from time to time. Okay, it could be motivational classes, or at the same time they could also take some content classes. Okay, so here PK Sharma sir is there, retired IFS, and there is IAS and IPS officers also who are currently serving, and who you can also take inspiration from them. Okay, they can give you their experiences, because the reason is we have found out that motivation is a constant factor that is needed for students to clear the UPSC level. Okay, so that is the reason we have with us these esteemed faculties also. So they can give your experience, they can give their experiences, and it would be a constant motivator for you also, right? Now, after this, yes, our current achievements. What are our current achievements? Basically, as you have seen, that is 6 students from our classroom program. Okay, that you are about to join. They have cleared from the UPSC 2023 exam. Okay, the last year they have cleared. 6 students were there. Okay, now for the prelims mentorship program, last year 2024 prelims, that is there. Basically, 62 students cleared the exam. Okay, who have enrolled in the prelims mentorship program. Okay, now please understand here, that is the students who have joined the prelims and who are prepared for UPSC. For them, the Telangana study PSC exam prelims is also very clear. It's very easy for them, right? So here you can see that is more than 100 students, they cleared Group 1 Telangana PSC 2024 prelims also. Okay, they are our students who have joined. Okay, now how will be the program beneficial for students? Yes, so as I have mentioned, targeted approach, exam approach. You do not need to focus on all the content. You do not need to focus on multiple sources. Fix your source and revise it multiple times. Okay, your exam orientation should be based on PYQs. Entire PYQ should be the guide on the basis of which, okay, the previous year question should be the guide on the basis of which your entire UPSC preparation should go about. Okay, so strategically target the UPSC prelims and maximize your productivity and efficiency. Okay, study less and be productive. Okay, and let us handle the complexities of current affairs. You don't have to go read multiple sources for current affairs. We will do the same for you. Okay, so that is how the foundation program will be beneficial to you, right? Now, if yes, with that, our presentation is done. Okay, now if there are any students who have queries, right, they can, I'll hand it over to Santhosh, and you can ask your queries to him directly. Okay, now in the meantime, the students who are interested in the foundation program, who want to enroll in the foundation program, you can take a screenshot of this. Okay, so here you can directly enroll through the link. If you have any queries, feel free to contact these 2 numbers. Okay, and we will guide you through the program. If you have any doubts regarding what to prepare on, how to prepare your UPSC attempt, how to maximize your productivity, all of that will be discussed. And just contact us in these 2 numbers. Okay, you can contact us through Telegram, you can contact us through WhatsApp. Okay, so these 2 numbers you can take a screenshot. Fine. Yes, current affairs also. So first, we will focus on the foundation module, and then we will focus on the prelims, CSAT, and the current affairs module. Okay, Yumi. All right. Yes, any doubt for any, if you have any queries for Santhosh, you can ask. Okay, he's here. He will be guiding you. What is the fees? The fees is basically it's a 1-year comprehensive foundation program containing 6 modules. So basically the fees is 1.5 lakhs. Okay, because it is you have seen it is basically 600 hours. Okay, it's spread over 600 hours. So that is the reason we are focusing not just on the prelims part of it, as many foundation courses do. We are also focusing on the mains part of it also. Okay, so that is the reason we are focusing on this. Okay, the personalized mentorship is also there. So that is the reason the fees is there. Fine. What is the regular timing of the classes? The regular timing of the classes is morning. Okay, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Okay. Okay, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. is the classes. Inform in the group when, yes, definitely. All the programs that are there, we will inform you in the post, right? Any doubts that any queries you have regarding Santhosh? For Santhosh, you can type in the chat. Okay. The students who are interested in the program, please take a screenshot of the same. Okay. And you can feel free to reach out. Okay. In these two numbers. Yes.
There's a particular question.
Yes.
What made you go through 6 attempts and how did you overcome the fatigue? See, when I first started for preparing UPSC, like all of you or any of us, I thought I'll just clear it in the first attempt. But of course, right after graduation, I gave the attempt. And of course, I did not clear the prelims in 2016, 17. Uh, After that, generally what happens, once you write the exam, you'll not be knowing your score until the next year. So I failed in prelims in 2017, but I got to know my score only next year. And you might be surprised, I missed the cutoff by 0.66 marks. So that at that particular point, it was also a kind of motivation, like during the first attempt, I was so close. And then in my second attempt, luckily I cleared prelims, mains at the same time, and I gave interview as well. And of course, I did not clear the final list by few marks. So each time I was able to motivate myself to see I am becoming better. And eventually in my third attempt, I did get the IRPS service. After that, once in service, you have to write your exam with managing your training, managing your classes and all. So managing your work. That was kind of hectic, but even nonetheless, I just thought I'll be writing the exam anyway. So I was managing both my training, my classes, my work duties, and then I wrote the exam. Of course, even after that, in 2021 as well, that is in my fourth attempt, fifth attempt, sorry. I managed to clear the exam once again. I did clear the exam and also got the rank, but of course, I did not get the better service than this. So I retained my original service because I had my seniority. I wanted to protect my seniority. So that's my 6 years of journey and how I dealt with fatigue. That is what I cover. Try to prepare my slides based on my own preparation. You have to never lose being a positive minded person, and never you should never have self doubt. When I failed prelims in my first attempt itself, even then I did not think I'll not be able to clear the exam. All my focus was something went wrong. I just wanted to wait till the score, or I just thought I'll try with a better approach. That is the reason self doubt should not be there in anybody who's preparing for the competitive exam. All the factors that I've mentioned earlier in my slides are the factors that helped me going in these 6 years. So, what's your optional subject? My optional subject is mathematics. There's a previous question. Is currently pursuing his integrated and he'll be graduating only in 2026. Decided to prepare. So how should I aspirant like I should balance my graduation in both UPSC exam? Uh, and the second subject, how should mathematics be tackled? See, balancing is like suppose you're choosing mathematics as a subject, optional subject, it is common that will be there in both your graduation and UPSC. You should focus on that. And then of course you should be able to give your you'll be preparation starts from only in 26. That means you have to prioritize graduation first and take out some time to get an idea into the civil services preparation, completing the basic books. That should be the utmost priority for now. Will my graduation subjects will be any helpful in interview stages? Of course it will be helpful. Most probably during the interview stage, the questions are asked most probably from your own DAF, that is called detailed application form, that includes your graduation, your native place, your hobbies, etc. it's basically your CV. So all the questions, the personality test will be based on your own application form. And one other thing, how to balance this particular thing. The course is designed in such a way that to early in the morning, only for 2 hours from 7 to 9, so that people who are working also, people who are studying also, it can help you in balancing both your education and as well as civil service preparation.
Okay. Any other queries, anyone for Santhosh? Yeah, Santhosh, you can take this one.
What is the reason for repeated failures in prelims? Yeah, many people who fail in prelims, na, the major reason I understand, or multiple reasons. The first and foremost is not trying to understand what is the exam demands, what is the exam trying to extract from you, or what is their line of questioning is. As I said earlier, they just, once you pick up a book, once you start preparing for it, you should never lose sight why you picked up that book and why you're preparing. Suppose you're reading polity, you should always remember that you are reading a certain subject to clear the exam and not to develop or do PhD in that particular subject. When you do this, no, when you have this exam-oriented approach all through in all your preparation, that will help you in your own preparation. And the other thing is negligence, or you can't say not negligence, but a lethargic attitude towards the exam. As I said, many people who are competent enough to clear CSAT, who for whom CSAT should be easy, they're not able to clear CSAT in certain years because of the lethargic or indifferent attitude towards the exam. So for the most probably the repeated failure, the reason will be not trying to read the subject from the exam point of view or the examiner's mindset. And that is where, of course, the institutes come in picture to help you, to contain you, to guide you in a way only to prepare to a certain extent in how it will help you in the exam. Any more questions I'd like to answer? Hobby section, please guide us at about hobby section. Hobbies are something that you pursue for your own pastime and recreation. So it has to be what makes you feel better. If there are no any questions, I'll hand over to Philip.
All right. So I hope this session was useful for you. Okay. And now, if you have any other queries regarding the foundation program, feel free to reach out. Okay. These are our numbers. The faculty numbers are there. Okay. And we'll be definitely there to guide you in your successful journey. Right. All right. So with that, we end the session. Okay. If you have any doubts, just take a screenshot of this and you can reach out to us. Okay. With that, I end the session and we'll meet you hopefully in the foundation program. Okay. So bye everyone. Take care.